We start this episode with a Super Cup victory against Newcastle. They won the Europa League, but us as Champions League winners were just too good on the day, despite Allende's best efforts at 1-0 to take the game away from us. He two-footed Tonali, and that changed the game as Newcastle came in and tried to smash us. But it's a huge win, and it's another European trophy to add to our collection here at Aris. The boys have done so well in this game, and it was just one goal from Samad Bazdar, who is silently becoming one of the best players in this squad. After winning the Champions League and the Super Cup with Aris, we have shot up the rankings for the Greek Super League. We were in 13th place. We are now the 9th best league in Europe, which is a great start from where we was down in the 20th positions. We are now above leagues like the Swiss Super League, the SPL, the Turkish League, and we are coming up on leagues like the Jupiler Pro League, the Portuguese League, and the Eredivisie, with the top 5 leagues in our sights. Hopefully one day we can break into that top 5 with the Greek League. It's been such a big experience for us at club level and at international level now as well. We are the 10th ranked team in the world after the World Cup performance and after winning a few games from friendlies and nations leagues. We are slowly moving up those rankings, and we are not too many points away from teams like Germany, Italy, Belgium, Portugal. We could really do so well with this Greek Builder Nation. It is such an exciting series. It has been a busy summer here at Aris. We have had some big ins and some big outs. But let's start with the ins. We got a new goalkeeper in Diego Calai. The Portuguese goalkeeper is very, very good. He's Portuguese and Brazilian. He played for Sporting before, but we bought him from a club in Brazil. He has kept a lot of clean sheets for us in the league. 6 clean sheets, only 1 goal conceded in 7 games, and that says a lot about the defence that's in front of him. I really like this goalkeeper. He did cost us 12 million, so it was a club record fee, but he's absolutely class. We got in one of the best wonder kids that we could have got in Naheem Karimi. The Norwegian international is quality at right wing, and him and Podishayev now have great competition out on the wing. He can play central midfield, he can play at cam as well, but look at those stats for this baller. We got him on the cheap as well. What a player Karimi is going to be for us. We got in another left back because we did lose a few and we did need some young players, and who doesn't love a Japanese wonder kid in Daisuke Narita. He's out on loan at the moment at Kyoto, still in Japan, but when he comes back to the club, he'll be fighting Alvaro Fernandez for the left back spot. In my opinion, he does need to improve. As you can see, his stats are not the best, but I believe this young man could be one of our best players. And then we got a massive player on a free transfer, Bilal El Kanous. I've definitely killed his name, but he is a player. Don't look at those stats and think he's rubbish. He is quality. Got him on a free from Genk. The Moroccan international is very, very experienced and is one of our highest paid players at the club. Very excited to get him in. Other players we let go, well, we signed a new goalkeeper because we sold Altuve. The goalkeeper we bought for 100k, we sold for £13 million. Pure Harry Redknapp style business there. You cannot get better than that in terms of transfer value. Luka Netz wanted to go and they activated his release fee, so he went to Everton. It's a shame to see him go because he's a big part of this football club and was a big part of why we won the Champions League last season. Guardino, we got him on a free. We took a gamble. He's now gone to Al Hazim. They paid £8 million for him. He didn't play for us, and I thought, do you know what? £8 million is £8 million. Zé Carlos was one who wanted a big, big contract. He won the Champions League with us last season. Thought he was Billy Big Boy, and went for, same sort of money that he is on at Crystal Palace, and he's gone to Crystal Palace. No disrespect to Palace, but on this save, we are the biggest and best teams, and those are the biggest players that we got out in our transfer window. Now, let's take a look at the other clubs and what they've done. One of our biggest rivals on this save is AEK Athens, and they have spent £5 million and sold 32k, so they are going for an investment, and the player they've put their most investment in is the Georgian centre-back Luka Lokashvili. He looks fairly decent and will improve their defence, and hopefully they can improve themselves in Europe because that will help us keep building the Greek league to being one of the best leagues in the European Union. They did get Andrea Belotti as well, which is, at 33 years of age, he's a big name coming to the Greek league. He's going to be an impact sub for them. He's going to score goals. It's Belotti. It's exactly what he does. We'll check out Olympiacos as well. Our biggest rivals domestically is Olympiacos, and they've spent 2.5 million, but don't be fooled by the amount they've spent because they've got some brilliant, brilliant players in this season. They've gone out and got Federico Pereira from Werder Bremen, who's going to be a centre-back, right-back for them. They've improved their back line. He looks fairly decent for Olympiacos. But their main summer signing, in my opinion, would be Nicolas Pepe, who again increases the reputation of the league. He's an elite winger on this save. He's absolutely class. He didn't do it at Arsenal, but he's done it at Trabzonspor. Got a move to Olympiacos. He'll be brilliant for them, and hopefully they can push forward in Europe, because that's where they've really struggled on our save, and it's a shame to see it. I mean, they could do well in Europe this season. They might not. We will take a look in this video how teams are doing in Europe towards the December-January transfer window. For Greece, we had a 3-game bonanza, and we kicked it off against Georgia, where the youngster Sayatonis puts us in front to start off a 2-0 victory. It was a goal on his debut, and Georgia were hard to break down, and as you saw, we only scored in the 79th minute, but a late goal from Hats made it 2. The Kazakh were our next victims as we put the B team out to beat them 2-0. Ayadanis with a big header, and then another goal from a set piece put us 2-0 up and set up a big clash with Belgium. Belgium really were no match for us as we beat them 4-0 away from home. Some great defending there from FaZe. Let Palvides in, and he slotted in the first early on to give us some hope. But it was all Greece, and Belgium just wasn't at the races in this game. They couldn't cope with the Grumbledore tactic, and De Valkis put in the second, and it led us top of the group with 18 points, and Belgium's place in the Euros is now under threat. Now qualified for Euro 2028. And it's a big qualification. We had a fairly straightforward group, but beating Belgium at home and away from home as well, only conceding 2 goals so far this whole qualifying campaign with 6 wins from 6. Belgium's place in the Euros is under threat because Georgia have a game against Kazakhstan in hand. If they win that game by 2-0, they should go in front of Belgium unless it works on head-to-head. But it's going to be great. We've got 2 games left against Northern Ireland and I believe Georgia as well. So we're going to remain probably undefeated unless we slip up in Northern Ireland. We're going to be at the Euros, and we will see at the end of this video who we get in that group stage draw. The 2 games for Greece didn't start very well as we had a 0-0 draw with Northern Ireland, but we put Georgia to the sword, beating them 5-0 in a comprehensive win, meaning we went undefeated in our Euros qualification draw. The win against Belgium away from home is probably one of the best I've had on Football Manager. The draw for the Euros will be done at some time, and we will see our fate in the Euros, and hopefully we've built up enough head of steam so we can go far in that tournament like we did in the World Cup. But now let's take a look at our January transfer window activity. The January transfer window was an absolute mad one. We've managed to secure 2 great players on a free transfer. We've lost some key players and we've brought in replacements. So sit back, relax, get a tea because we might be in for a bit of a long one here. Restes comes in on a free, the best goalkeeper on the game. The French international is now France's #1 and he's going to be Aris's #1 next season. Where that leaves Diego Calais, I don't know, but Restes on a free, you just can't turn down that opportunity. When it comes in. You have to take him. He's absolutely world class. And then we've got Victor Gyökeres on a free as well. The Swedish international tore us apart when Sweden played us against Greece a few years back. And he is probably going to be our #9 squad. 49 goals in 107 games for Sporting Lisbon's got some crack stats, works really hard. The type of player we need in the team. A bit of experience as well because we're getting towards the side now where you'll see we've got a lot of young players and we need some players for the mentoring group. So he's going to compete with Brenner and Bazdar up top. I feel like he will be #1. Brenner scored a lot of goals, but Gyökeres is much better. Now, if we take a look at the players that we've lost recently in this transfer window, one of the biggest ones was Lionel Magalo. The Argentine centre-back had a release clause in there of 13 million. He wanted 120 grand a week to stay at Aris. We can't do that. It will bankrupt the club. So he went to my team, Tottenham. I don't begrudge him going to Spurs. He's going to have a great career there. Played 61 games for us, was one of our best players. But we have brought in replacements, which you will see. Other players we lost in the transfer window, we sold Milinkovic Savic to Saudi or the Middle East. He went for big money, which was good. We brought him in for a similar sort of money, so we didn't really make any money on him, but it's fine. We've got Diego Calais and Restes for next season. We didn't really need him. We sort of panicking to buy a goalkeeper last season because the squad were moaning, and he was a panic buy that didn't really work out for us. Other players that have left the club was Marcelo Allende. He wanted to go to the Middle East as well, and he's gone to Shabab Al Hilal. And he was a great player for us. Free transfer, sold him for big money, big profit on him. Couldn't really go wrong. He wanted to go as well. The 28-year-old is now in his prime. And we've bought in replacements. And wait till you see some of these replacements. They are absolutely class. The first replacement we brought in was Marlon Valencia. The Colombian is 18-year-old and he is looking absolutely stacked. Already played 36 games for Nacional in Colombia. We got him for absolute bargain of about £4 million. You can't go wrong with that. He's been at Colombia, playing in the Olympics. He's now worth 20 to 26 million pounds. He is going to be Magalo's replacement, and he's just as good as Magalo as well, which is, you know, great. We lost the player for 12 million, bought a player in for 4. And then Allende's replacement was Juan Cruz Prada. The designer winger is absolutely class. Him and Arachi are going to compete. He came from Defensia. Him and Arachi on the left wing could be very good. We might need to go into the transfer market next season and buy another winger. But for now, we've brought in some great players. And to round off this episode, I will show you how teams are doing in Europe, the Greek teams, and how we're doing in the league so far. Competition-wise, we are absolutely smashing it as we normally do. We're going to win the league again at Akanta. This season, Olympiacos have been a little bit better, but we've got 2 games in hand and we are already 8 points clear in the league. No one can really stop us. We're like 126 games undefeated in the league, which is an absolute madness. Champions League, well, we are the holders and we did qualify again for the knockout rounds, finishing 5th this season in the league table. Only 2 points off Man United, who won it. I don't know how far we're going to go, to be perfectly honest. The team isn't as great as what it is. We've beaten Arsenal in the Champions League this season. We did lose to PSG. It's all going to depend on the draw. We did win the Super Cup, as you saw right at the start of the episode. And the Greek Cup, we beat our rivals PAOK to go through to the semi-finals. Again, we'll probably win everything domestically, which is super, super easy for us. And then now if we take a look at the Europa League to see how the other teams got on in there. The Olympiacos did qualify for the knockout rounds, which is good. Their striker is one of the top goal scorers in the competition as well, but Manchester City are in the Europa League, so it's not going to be looking good for Olympiacos. They're not going to win it. I don't expect them to win it anyway, but they are getting to the knockout rounds, which is very, very good. Heidenheim in there as well. I mean, good to see them. I mean, never really see Heidenheim in this sort of stuff, but the team that's really let us down is AEK Athens, ALK Athens. They didn't qualify for the knockout rounds, so that's going to be bad for our coefficient, especially if we have a bad end to the season in the Champions League. So we're going to have to push on and hope that other Greek teams have done well in the other competitions. The Conference League, I mean, they've got some big teams in there. You've got teams like Sevilla, Tottenham, Wolfsburg, but PAOK did finish 6th, which is very, very good for us and is great for our coefficient. And we hope PAOK, our biggest rivals, go far in this competition because it helps with that, bringing the Greek league to being one of the best leagues in Europe. We're currently ranked 9th. We're hopefully getting in the top 5 in the next 2 or 3 seasons to help with that new TV money as well. So hopefully Greek teams can go on and do very well. We wish the best to Olympiacos and PAOK. And on the next episode, we will see who we're going to get drawn against in the European Championships in the summer and round off the rest of the season with Aris.